Good morning, East Alabama to West Georgia. Dr. Don in here with you on your Saturday morning as we get your Memorial Day weekend underway on Saturday, May 25th, 2024. And we got a little weather out there to talk about this morning. Good news before I give you the bad news. Good news is once we get this through here, I think we're just looking at scattered pop-up thunderstorms the remainder of today. Sunday looks good. Then we may have to deal with a few more strong thunderstorms late Sunday night into Monday morning. But let's go ahead and take a look at what's happening out there this morning. We have a couple of special weather statements that have been issued by the National Weather Service for these clusters of thunderstorms that are moving across northeast and east central Alabama. We'll start with the closest to home, and that's going to be this cluster of thunderstorms that is moving out of Talladega County into Clay. We have very heavy rainfall and probably some small hail just to the northwest of Millerville in Clay County. And then right up that stair step between Talladega and Clay County, strong thunderstorms, maybe some hail just northeast of Waldo. And then up there around Cheahaw State Park, up there on top of the mountain, we've got some very heavy convection up there, some very strong rain and winds, very gusty. Just south of Oxford, maybe a few more ice pellets or hail falling there. Pretty nasty ride now from the 431 interchange on I-20 all the way back to around the Bynum exit. Out there at the Anniston Army Depot. Very heavy rainfall falling over the Oxford, Anniston area at this hour. And then as we move on up to the northeast of Heflin, up there in Cleburne County around Jacksonville, Calhoun County, back toward the Cleburne County line, up around Jacksonville, maybe just east of Weaver. We have some hail occurring there also. And then as we get up there around Piney Woods in northern Cleburne, northwest of Muscadine, up around Liberty Hill, we have some heavy rain occurring there, also at Piedmont. And then on up into Cherokee County, heavy thunderstorms occurring. And then over in Georgia near Cedartown, we have some pretty good hail signatures showing up here. We have a severe thunderstorm warning in effect now for Cedartown and just north of the Cedartown area for that possibility of some hail that's occurring in that particular storm. We zoom back out. For those of you in Georgia, that severe thunderstorm warning is going to stay just south of Cartersville, we think, and will run to the east, maybe a little bit south of due east. It'll probably clip the northern suburbs of Atlanta, so places like Alpharetta, Marietta, Sandy Springs, heads up. You got a pretty decent thunderstorm coming your way. That's the only warning we have out there this morning. For those of you up here in northeast Georgia, we have one small, strong cell over in western Lumpkin County. That's moving east and will likely affect the Dahlonega area, and eventually it'll get North Hall, southern White County as it moves off to the east, assuming it holds together. And then back to the northwest from Dalton all the way down to Calhoun, Rome, and Cedartown, that line of thunderstorms moving through. Back across our primary coverage area, Randolph County, you're good. No problems down in Ellick City. No problems in Lafayette. Lee County looks good. All of our West Georgia counties okay at the moment. But this line of thunderstorms is pushing off to the east. I'll put it in motion, and you can kind of see the direction that this line of thunderstorms is moving. So it will eventually move across Ashland, Lineville. It will eventually move across Lake Wedowee. For those of you who may be trying to get an early start out there on the waterway this morning on Lake Wedowee, go back to the boat launch and go to your vehicles and let's ride this thing out before you get back out there on the water. There is some lightning involved with this storm, though not a tremendous lightning output at the moment. It only takes one strike, and you got a problem. So get off the water if you're on Lake Wedowee, let this line pass, and then I think we're looking at a pretty nice rest of your Saturday. So you're going to have plenty of time to have fun out there on the inner tube on the lake once this line passes. But you do not need to be out there right now. Same goes for you folks who maybe float the creeks and rivers across East Alabama and West Georgia. Yeah, get away from that body of water until this line of storms clears your particular area. So that's what we're looking at this morning. Special weather statement from the National Weather Service for maximum winds of up to 40 miles per hour. And this is going to be in effect until 9 a.m. Central, so about another, 34 minutes or so before this expires for Cleburne, Calhoun, Clay, and eastern Talladega County. I suspect that Randolph County will get a special weather statement here in just a few moments, and that they may extend it even down into northern Tallapoosa. Because the south end of this flanking line of storms beginning to develop down here in Coosa County. So if I had to guess, we have a new special weather statement on the way for northern Tallapoosa, probably northern Chambers and Randolph. That'll likely come out here in just a few moments from the National Weather Service, and we'll hang around with you live to see if indeed that does happen. So while we're waiting on that, let me run up here to the chat room and see what's happening. Good morning, Jay Meducas. What about Waldo? Well, you got some nastiness. You got some nastiness over there around Waldo. Let me stop the loop, bring it current, and you can see that it's pulling out of Talladega County. So Waldo, weather conditions should be improving, though you've got a couple of small scattered cells back to your west that hasn't moved through yet. If there was going to be any severe weather, I think it would have already moved through Waldo with that main surge that came through just a few moments ago. So conditions should be improving for you over there in Waldo. Hearing thunder and rain in Rome, Georgia. You ain't kidding. You got a pretty good one up there. You've got a severe thunderstorm warning that is going to be just to your south. The heaviest part of that cell up there in northwest Georgia is going to be around Cedartown. That's moving off to the east. Places like Rockmart, Taylorsville, heads up. Maybe Dallas in about an hour. And even Cartersville in about an hour. You may have to deal with this cell. You folks up there in Rome, you're looking pretty good. You got some heavy rain in the area, maybe a few strokes of lightning from time to time, but any hail that's happening out there right now would be down here around Cedartown. We've got multiple indications of hail down there. As a matter of fact, the computer algorithm's telling us a 100% chance of hail and about a 30% chance that it is of the severe category, which would be 3/4 of an inch or larger. So that's kind of a look there at the storm as it moves into northwest Georgia. Tin Shop in the house. Hey, Dana. Good to see you. There's Mike Pittman. Good morning, Mike. Deborah Gilmore watching from Wedowee, hearing thunder and rain in Rome. Let's see. We've got... Yeah, between those areas. Okay, yeah, thank you. And there's Sue Smith watching from the capital, well, actually not the capital city. I'll offend somebody in Wedowee if I say that. Renee watching us down in Panama City this morning. Probably trying to get that weekend started down there on the beach. We'll show you that. We'll show you the Gulf Coast here in just a few moments. Sandy Night's got us going, down in Hughley. There's Chris. How bad will it get in Wadley? Yeah, so we don't have anything severe. These storms are below severe limits, though they're strong. I mean, they warrant a special weather statement from the National Weather Service. So we're talking wind gust 40 miles per hour, frequent cloud-to-ground lightning, some torrential rainfall that shouldn't last very long, and gusty winds. We're not looking at tornadoes here. The biggest threat from these storms this morning will be the damaging straight-line winds and hail. Same thing for Standing Rock. At the moment, you look good down there, but this line is coming your way. Hogansville in the house. Fruithurst in the house. Cragford, hey, Sherry. Waldo in eastern Talladega County. What about Roanoke? Here comes the What About Club. Good morning, Whatabouts. You're in East Alabama there, Roanoke. All of East Alabama will deal with this line of storms. As it moves to the east, we're talking thunder, lightning, rain, possibly some hail. At the moment, these storms are below severe limits. Clarksville. Good morning, Clarksville. Leela's watching us in Lineville. Hiram, Georgia. Good morning, Rodney. Doug's got us going in Ranburne. So we have Rabun County, which is just north of where my studios are here in White County, Georgia. Spending 22 years in Randolph. And constantly, recognizing Ranburne. Now I live up here in northeast Georgia, and I got Rabun County, and I get the two confused all. These folks up here in Georgia, I say Rayburn County, they look at me like, well, where's that at? McKaysville. Hey, Stephen. Cragford, there's Chrissy. Derek's got us going on in LaGrange. Carrollton is in the house. There's Darrell and Wadley. Joe, Frog Level Festival in Wedowee. It's fitting to get wet. Joe, if you're there, I don't know that you are, but if you're there or if you have contact with anybody in Wedowee that's in charge of that festival, I would suggest to them to hunker down because, anytime you have a festival outdoors, you got all those pop-up tents. And while this storm is not severe, there could be wind gusts up to 40 miles per hour, and that will wreak havoc on those pop-up tents. And anybody that's outdoors needs to start looking at seeking indoor shelter. I mean, we'd always probably got another 15, 20 minutes before it starts to impede there. But they need to have a plan, and they need to start securing those pop-up tents, and then when that lightning gets within 7 to 10 miles of Wedowee, they need to be headed to their automobiles and ride this thing out and wait for the last, 20 to 30 minutes after the last lightning strike before they come back out. Lake Wedowee is in the house. Good morning, Kristen. Yeah, those whatabouts. James watching us up at Potash. North Paulding. Let's see here. Yeah, rain falling. That was a good move if you got it cut yesterday. I got up a little early this morning, and that was going to be my plan, is to get out there. And, of course, I can't cut grass where I live. I live on the side of a mountain. And I have lots of trees, so I grow weeds and rocks. And so I have to do the weed eater thing. I have about 3/4 of an acre I have to weed eat. So my idea was to get up this morning and get out there before it got blazing hot and in the coolness of the North Georgia mountains, do some weed eating. Well, about the time I stepped out the front door, it started raining. So I get to spend the morning with you guys, if need be, talking about weather. Tricia in Wedowee and watching. Hey, Kay, watching us in Glen, Georgia, and got us going on up there in the Tin Shop. All right, so if you're just joining us, the reason we're here, we have a severe thunderstorm warning north of I-20 over here in Cedartown. That's pushing off to the east and will affect North Metro Atlanta in the next hour and a half. And then a little further south, we have special weather statements for Cleburne, Calhoun, eastern Talladega, though Talladega, you're pretty much out of it now, and Clay County. I anticipate a new watch coming for, a new special weather statement coming for Randolph, maybe northern Talladega and northern Chambers. Let me go see if the Weather Service is talking about that. I know I'm seeing some discussion where they're talking about very, very unlikely that they would issue a severe thunderstorm watch in East Alabama. Now, we're starting to get into the heating of the day, so I think it would be conceivable we could see the SPC throw something out for Georgia, and it would probably be Atlanta Metro East if they do that. I'm not anticipating a watch for East Alabama or probably not for West Georgia because we only have one severe storm out there right now, and that's that storm near Cartersville, or now just east of Cartersville. I don't see any discussion about extending the special weather statement further east, but they don't always tell us they're going to do that on the special weather statement, so we'll keep an eye on that. Cindy, where are you? She says it looks like it's over now. I'm not sure exactly where you are. Obviously, you must be in Talladega County because that's where it's over. Still ongoing in Clay County. Still ongoing in Cleburne. Calhoun's pretty much out of it, except for the extreme northeastern corner. Hadn't moved into Randolph just yet, so... Auburn, Opelika area, you're good right now. Probably for the next hour or so, you're going to be good. But you'll notice the backside of this trying to develop. Let me zoom in a little closer for you. The strong part of the storm stops up there around Goodwater. And right now, from Goodwater south to Millbrook, there's just not much going on. And this stuff over here around Deatsville and Millbrook and Titus and Elmore County would be what would eventually end up over here in Lee County. Right now, there's not much happening over there, but that could develop over the next hour or so. So if you're in Lee County, southern Chambers, central and southern Tallapoosa, this would be the area that you want to keep an eye on, back over toward Deatsville. That's where your weather would be coming from. Thunder now in Thunder now in Randolph, north of Wadley. And that thunder you're hearing is coming from those lightning strikes back over here near Millerville. So this storm is moving in this general direction. Malone, Corinth, Wadley, eventually Roanoke. This is the area that you need to be paying attention to right there. That's what's moving in your general direction. You folks up here in Wedowee, you're going to be getting this stuff kind of in the middle. That's what's moving your direction. And up in North Randolph, you got this heavy cell that's sitting over Chulafini right there. And that's going to be sliding off to the east. So probably Newell North in northern Randolph is going to catch the southern flank of that particular cell. Foster's Crossroads, Newell, maybe Woodland, Graham, Bucktown, Bowden. That's where your weather's going to be coming from. Delta is on the south end of that right now. So at the moment, the two heaviest cells within this line in Alabama is going to be that one from Delta up to about Heflin, and then the south end from Ashland down to Goodwater. This stuff in the middle is just light to moderate rain, and that's what I would expect to move across Lake Wedowee. Though the north end of this Ashland storm could clip the south end of Lake Wedowee down there around the dam. Nonetheless, I mean, if you're anywhere on Lake Wedowee right now, you need to be seeking shelter. You're certainly within the danger zone of where all the lightning is taking place, and we are seeing some rogue strikes even in this lighter stuff in the middle that's coming through Lineville. So you just don't need to be on the water anywhere over here on Lake Wedowee. I'll put this in motion again so you can kind of get a sense of the direction. Hey, Sam. No, you're not. Do not get on that water right now. I was talking about that just a moment ago, and that was directed at you. Let this line of storms pass before you guys float the Terrapin. I mean, yeah. I mean, you don't have long to wait. Just hang on a minute. Give it 30 minutes, and you guys will be safe to have a good time. There's nothing else behind it, but let this move through before you guys get on the river. Yeah, in about an hour, you'll be perfectly fine. Sherry's watching in Wadley. Christie's got us going on in Wedowee, Swag Community. Yeah, I think Tallapoosa will be perfectly fine, Stella, later on today. Let this line of storms move through. Sorry, Sam. This is a one-person show here, and I have to be doing multiple things at the same time. I didn't read your entire comment. I will. Yeah, so this is dumping a lot of rain, but it's a very narrow, thin line of storms. Not sure it affects the level of the creeks and rivers that much. Hey, Susan, what about Club? All right. Bowden, this line of storms coming right at you. Not severe. This is below severe limits. Here comes that new special weather statement I was expecting. And let's see what they're doing here. Okay, so that's a little out of the ordinary. So what they've done now is they've issued a new special weather statement for southeastern Clay and northern Tallapoosa. They have not included Randolph yet. So we'll see how that works out. Let me get the verbiage of this. This is a special weather statement that's in effect until 9:30. For Tallapoosa, this would be for New Site, Goldville, Daviston, Hackneyville, Cleveland Crossroads, and Mellow Valley. And is that part of the same one? Apparently it is. Excuse me. Yeah, this is a special weather statement for a strong thunderstorm which will impact northern Tallapoosa and southeastern Clay through 9:30 this morning. At 8:44, Doppler radar was tracking a strong thunderstorm near Goodwater, moving to the east at 30 miles per hour. Wind gust to 50 miles per hour. That's a little more significant. So that's just below severe limits. You got to have 58 mile per hour or stronger winds to get into the severe thunderstorm classification. So that's pretty close. So this is a strong thunderstorm. Gusty winds could knock down tree limbs and blow around unsecure objects. So that is going to be for southern and southeastern Clay and for northern Tallapoosa. Randolph, you're still good. No special weather statements for Randolph just yet. The other strong portion of this storm's up around Chulafini, coming across Cheehaw Mountain up there, and that will mainly affect southern Cleburne, but may clip northern Randolph as well. And we follow this on up to the north, and you can see that we still have those heavy showers and storms taking place. Piedmont, you're about out of it. You're on the back side of all of this now. And then even on up into Cherokee County, the back side of the line stretches from Piedmont to center to Galesville, and is trucking on off to the east pretty good. So, yeah, you're going to be fine up there around Piedmont in the next 15 to 20 minutes. The two areas of concern at the moment is this area moving across southern Cleburne County, right at the Randolph County line, and that second area south of Ashland. That's the strongest in this storm right now. And that area is going to move in this general direction. So heads up Wadley, Dickert, Roanoke, Corinth, Friendship Community, really from Wedowee south on this one, as it moves off to the east. All right, so the motion is to the east at 31 miles per hour. So let me see if we can get things to cooperate for us. All right, we can get the radar back. I'll be able to give you some times. Oh, there it goes. Well, I had it. But for a split moment, you know, all of this works perfect until you mash that go live button. And that's when you start having issues. There we go. All right, so here's what I want to do. I want to give you some expected arrival times as we move this out 31 miles per hour. That's it about right there. So here are the expected arrival times. We're talking Mountain Community at around 9:01, New Site around 9:01, Daviston about 10 minutes after 9, Southern Union around 9:14, Frog Eye around 9:14, same for Wadley, the Abanda Community around 9:19, Shiloh around 9:20, Dickert about 9:24, Milltown around 9:26, Clacksville about 9:28, Crystal Lake around 9:31, Roanoke about 9:36, and the Welch Community around 9:40, Rock Mills about 9:44. That is for that southern cell that appears to be pretty strong, but below severe limits at the moment. Then we come up here and run the northern part of this, if it will allow me to do so. I believe it will. We'll run that out for you. And And expected times on this one across the northern part of Randolph, we're looking at 9:03 for Newell. Ranburne about 9:09. Bowden, that would be 10:18 Eastern Time. Ephesus around 10:19. Tyus around 10:23. And Roopville at about 10:30. And there we go with the special weather statement for Randolph now. And this is going to be a special weather statement in effect until 9:45 this morning. For wind gusts of 40 miles per hour, the storm is moving to the southeast at about 23 miles per hour. This will affect places such as Roanoke, Wedowee, Lake Wedowee, Wadley, Woodland, Malone, Morrison's Crossroads, Dickert, R.L. Harris Dam, Big Springs, Rock Mills. And again, we have two distinct different cells. Absolutely, Adam. Adam Slay is asking if he can pick our feed up. He's actually at the Frog Level Festival in Wedowee. You have a standing permission to take my feed anytime, sir. Just let me know you got it going so I can say good morning to all of your viewers. But we have two distinct areas of concern with these strong storms this morning, and that's going to be, I'll highlight those for you, the northern end, which is just south of Heflin and stretches down into northern Randolph, and that's moving. You know, they're putting a little bit of a southeastern motion on it, so we'll go with that. Let me rock this back and forth and see. Sometimes well, here we go. If there's a southeastern motion direction to it, it's very slight. So I'll go back with my original comment. There's your north end of concern, and I think it's really kind of moving in that direction. It may be building a little bit to the south as it moves east, but this part of the cell is primarily going to affect northern Randolph, and I think pretty far north Randolph. I don't think this makes it into Wedowee. Wedowee, what you have got to look at is going to be, hang on a second. This is the stuff that's going to make it into Wedowee. And you can see there's not a whole lot going on right there. I mean, we've got some pockets of heavier rain, and there certainly could be some gusty winds. I would expect any gusty wind for Wedowee to come right along this leading edge. That's called a gust front as it moves into Wedowee. And you could have some brief, very heavy rainfall, no question about it. But the majority of, at least for the moment, the majority of the lightning is contained up here in this northern cell and down in the southern cell, neither of which I think will affect Wedowee very much. The southern end of this is going to be the area that Wadley, Dickert, Roanoke, New Site, Frog Eye, 5 Points will have to pay attention to. This is going to be the cell that's going to move right across southern Randolph, northern Tallapoosa, and northern Chambers. So at the moment, if you are north of this line and south of this line, this will be the cell that will affect you. If you're up here in northern Randolph, southern Cleburne, you got to deal with that one. So no question, you're going to have to hunker down up here in Wedowee at the festival to let this stuff move through. But at the moment, at least, it appears the heaviest lightning will be to your north and to your south. But I don't think we see that much lightning in Wedowee. Now, understand, this is moving east at 31 miles per hour, so that certainly could change before it gets there. The leading edge of the rain just about to move into Wedowee right now. And we certainly could see a rogue stroke of lightning in this area between the two heavier cells. So you folks in Wedowee need to treat this as though you're going to get the heaviest part of it, because things can change very quick, though I don't think you're going to see the heaviest part. Thundering in Roanoke on Bud Cummins Road. Cassandra, hang on. It's going to change for you. You got some stuff coming. Joanna's watching us in Newell, thundering up there. Yeah. Secure your loose items. That's right. Lawn chairs, trampolines. You know, trampolines, Alabama state bird. And we got some of the Alabama state birds migrated into Georgia. I see them over here all the time. It happens in Georgia as well. Let me zoom out and show you what's happening region-wide. We do have a special weather statement that just popped up here in North Georgia. And you can't see that cell because it's just off of radar, because we're looking at the Birmingham radar. Let me switch to Atlanta, since all of this is in East Alabama and West Georgia anyway. So now we can see North Georgia much better. And yeah, it's a pretty good line of thunderstorms to the west of Dahlonega moving to the east. Nothing severe, though. And actually, they just let that special weather statement expire. But pretty strong thunderstorms headed toward Dahlonega, Alpharetta, Sandy Springs. That whole entire line is going to push across North Georgia. Heads up Gainesville, heads up Cleveland, Helen, Hiawassee, Tiger, Clayton, all of our northeast Georgia. Actually, we just got a special weather statement for Rabun County up there around Clayton and Tiger, Mountain City. Y'all know where the Dillard House is at when you go to the mountains, right there at the Georgia, Tennessee state line, Georgia, North Carolina state line. Well, that's where that special weather statement is. Coming back down to our primary coverage area of East Alabama and West Georgia, we still see two distinct heavy cells, one primarily in Cleburne County. Ranburne is going to catch the front of that. But the southern end of that does flank down into Newell, Foster's Crossroads, maybe to the Ava community just north of Wedowee. And no question, you're going to get some heavy rain, periods of heavy rain in Wedowee as this moves in. But most of the lightning is to the north up there. And I got to tell you, the lightning count has come down a little bit. Just in the last couple of volume scans, not seeing quite as much lightning as we were. And then the southern cell is going to affect primarily southeastern Clay, northern Tallapoosa, and southern Randolph. And again, the lightning count down here on this southern storm sitting at about 33 strikes in the last 3 minutes, which is down just a little bit. At one point, we had it up there in the mid-40s. Yeah, about 10 minutes ago, we had 43 strikes. We did have a 51 frame there as well. But overall, the lightning has come down just a tad, but I am seeing some hail cores in here, so that lightning may ramp back up. Possibly some hail down here just northwest of New Site. The computer algorithm tells us 100% chance of hail, 30% chance that it is of severe size, which is 3/4 of an inch or greater. And then maybe a little hail there just to the east of Goldville and just to the southeast of Mountain Community and just north and northeast of the Mountain Community up there on Highway 49. We may have some small hail there as well. And that is going to push right into the Wadley area, heads up Southern Union. You guys probably don't have any type of outdoor activities going on at Southern Union, because if you did, iSchool Sports Network would be there, and I know that they're in Wedowee today. So, hey, Mary. Storming in Newell. Yeah, it is. And it's just starting up there as well. All right, there's Newell. And your line of storms right there. And they're moving in that direction. So, places like Pine Tucky, Wildwood, Foster's Crossroads, Morrison's Crossroads, back over to Pine Hill and Newell, and maybe as far south as Wedowee Marine. And then for Wedowee, and we're down at street level now for Wedowee. We do have pockets of showers back over toward Liberty, Mad Indian Creek, Ophelia, Lake Wedowee, R.L. Harris Dam, and then looking in Clay, a pocket of heavy rain out there on 48 just east of Lineville. There's the next volume scan. So this is what's headed for Wedowee. That's what will move through Wedowee. And there's no question there will be some rain, but most of it's going to be light to moderate. I don't see an extremely heavy rainfall, and I don't see but one stroke of lightning in this frame in the last 3 minutes. Now, I'm not suggesting you stay out in this. I think you do need to go to your automobile if you're at the festival in Wedowee and hunker down there until all this passes. That's the course of least regret, and that's what you always want to do in these type of situations. But I got to tell you, I just don't think the strongest part of this storm is going to affect Wedowee. No question. At the moment, at least, the absolute heaviest part of this storm is now down here in southeastern Clay and northeastern Tallapoosa. Lightning, it has once again ramped up considerably. Now we're at about 60 lightning strikes in the last 3 minutes. So this cell is pulsating. In other words, it'll grow strong. We'll get those hail cores. We'll get a lot of friction going on in the upper levels of the atmosphere. It drops a lot of lightning, a lot of heavy rain and hail, and then it starts to get real close to severe limits and begins to outgrow its structure, and then it weakens. And then once it gets back down to a manageable, the structure allows the storm to get back down to a manageable level, and then it starts to ramp back up again. So that's what we're seeing. The storm is cycling, and now it's ramping back up. I mean, we've just hit 70 strikes of lightning here in the last 3 minutes. So pretty good lightning storm underway now from Cooley Crossroads down to the mountain community, back over toward Motley, and down to New Site, about to move into Daviston. We have light rain moving into Wadley, but the heavier showers are right on the Randolph-Clay County line, moving in your general direction. Talladega is good. All of this has moved on out of Tallapoosa County. I mean, Talladega, y'all got it going on up there. You probably got some sunshine. If you don't have sun, you will shortly. No problems in the Dega. Bottom has dropped out in the mountain community, so says Kay. Cooley Crossroads. Anybody that's behind, anybody that is, if you are in Central Clay or West, you're in good shape. Now, I mean, we got a couple of very small showers over here around Childersburg and Sylacauga that's going to come across Southern Clay, but those aren't going to be strong. So, I mean, if you're Ashland West, you're in good shape. Probably for the rest of the day, if I were a betting individual, and you're going to start seeing sun break out too. I mean, we may have to issue a sun warning here in a little while. Once we get this main line through your area, you're going to be in good shape. That storm up in Cleburne in northern Randolph has lost a good bit of its intensity. Maybe transferring a lot of that energy down here to the southern cell that is right on the Tallapoosa, Clay, Randolph County line. That's right there at Motley, where all three counties come together. That's where the heaviest part of this is, and it's moving off to the east. It's possible to have a few pop-up cells this afternoon, but they're going to be scattered. You're not going to see anything concentrated. And they've just issued a special weather statement for northeast Georgia. So seeing how that's where I'm located, let me go up here and look at this for a second. Because this is my area of responsibility right there. That's White County, Georgia. And so we've got a special weather statement that was just issued for this line of storms stretching from basically Blue Ridge down to Jasper and then down to Canton. And it is moving in that direction. Right now, one of the heavier cells is just north of Jasper or just west of Dahlonega, and that will move right directly over the central and southern sections of White County. So, that changes the game a little bit. As you guys know, my grocery buying job is an emergency manager up here in White County. I'm in charge of the 911 division, the emergency management division, and the animal control division. So when we start getting severe weather up here, I have to prioritize things. And obviously my area of responsibility in the northeast Georgia mountains has to be number one priority. I don't see anything severe. I don't see the possibility of it going severe down here in East Alabama or West Georgia, though we probably do have some hail that's about to move out of Clay into southwestern Randolph and moving across northern Tallapoosa. Typically, our threshold to go live and do wall-to-wall coverage is prompted by severe thunderstorm warnings or tornado warnings. We have neither, nor do I anticipate having any warnings, though that one cell could certainly possibly, it's just about 8 miles per hour as far as winds are concerned, about 8 miles per hour below severe limits. So what I'm getting at here, folks, is I'm going to have to step aside so that I can watch not just East Alabama and West Georgia, but also watch Northeast Georgia. There's a couple of things I have to monitor offline to make sure that we have all the information out up here in Northeast Georgia as well, as far as the weather is concerned. But if we were to go under a warning down here in East Alabama, if I see anything that I think is life-threatening, then I'll certainly be right back with you, and we'll continue with our coverage. I can tell you that it looks like the lightning output has subsided once again. We're seeing nowhere near 60. What is that? We're down now to about 25 strokes of lightning. In the last 3 minutes, we were at 60 at one time. So as I was saying just a moment ago, this storm is cycling. It ramps up, gets pretty strong, and then it collapses, and then it'll ramp back up, get real strong, and then it'll collapse again. And that's what we're seeing. That's the trend with this particular cell as it moves into southwest Randolph County. Going to continue to watch this, and if we see anything that is life-threatening or concerning for you folks in East Alabama and West Georgia, then I'll be right back, and we'll continue with our coverage. For the rest of Randolph County, we do have that broken line of showers moving through the county. I know there's a big festival taking place in Wedowee, and the moderate rain about to move into Wedowee, but I'm seeing no lightning that is threatening the Wedowee area. I'm not seeing that. That doesn't mean that you can't have a rogue stroke of lightning in that area. So you're under a special weather statement. You've got a strong storm to the north, a stronger storm to the south. There's always that chance you could have a bolt of lightning hit right there in the Wedowee area. So the best idea, even though I know the weather's not that bad in Wedowee at the moment, you're trying to have a good time with the festival, the best thing to do is to shelter in place inside your automobile or a business, not under a pop-up tent outside until this line of storms moves through. 30 minutes from now, you're going to be okay in Wedowee. Then you can go about your day and have a fantastic time and enjoy the festival. But until that time, until this line of storms makes it through Wedowee, I highly recommend that you stay indoors or some significant shelter to get through this. We're going to keep an eye on it for you. And like I said, if we were to have any warnings, I will be right back with you, and we'll continue with our coverage here on Dr. Don's Weather. Thank you for joining us. And I'll either see you back in here in a little while, or we'll see you first thing tomorrow morning with our Sunday morning edition of your primetime forecast on Dr. Don's Weather. Enjoy your Memorial Day weekend as soon as this line of thunderstorms clears your area.